And, I'm more comfortable going that route to reach an unknown rather than starting out, it's an unknown, and I'm going to try and prove it that way that it is one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't blame you at all for going down that route also. Have you ever been followed by shady, shadowy government people, so to speak, or anybody tried to...
I've always invited them to try. Hey, if you want to come tangle with me, head on, brother. I've never been afraid of anyone following me or anything else, and maybe that's stupid, but I'm not a weakling. I can take care of myself. I'm aware of my surroundings.
Okay.
Hey guys, we need to go on break. We'll be back about 6 after the hour. Top of the hour, James is going to give us, Earth Changes news, and then we're going to be back with Jeff to the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. Check us out at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com.
Borealis starlit crown arches over the Puget Sound. Berenice's hair drapes the horizon to where is my lucky star tonight? The seventh sister of the Pleiades walks in beauty like the night. Oh, that is best, dark and now lost to me.
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes news. Now, Russian farmers are giving cows virtual reality headsets, and a rather bizarre experiment in Russia has seen dairy cows being equipped with virtual reality headsets. Now, according to the farmers, it's a way to make the cows more relaxed to yield more dairy milk. Okay. Also, a huge London explosion trending on Twitter was a sonic boom, authorities say. They're not sure what caused this sonic boom. Again, it wasn't the Air Force. They're not taking responsibility. And it happened at 4:15 a.m. in UK time. And so the ongoing search is still being investigated. Of course, nobody's going to claim that one. Probably either. Also, a pterodactyl-faced winged humanoid was spotted. And here's the report. My husband and I saw a creature at Fort Bragg, California. We went to a beach at sunset and saw what looked like a 6-foot-tall man standing on a huge boulder about 30 feet out in the ocean. And it had its back to us. It was standing with its arms straight out for a long time. Then it put its arms down and backed up, and when they came up, they looked like bat wings. And when it turned its head, it looked like a pterodactyl. Then it dived toward the water on the opposite side of the boulder, and we couldn't see it anymore, and that was a sign for us to get in the car and leave. That was a report of a pterodactyl humanoid bat-winged being. Some weird stuff's been coming in like that. Also, a woman, she was talking to 2 dead girls in her sleep. I was asleep, and I was having what I thought was a dream, but there wasn't anything weird happening. I was just talking to these 2 girls. That I've never seen nor met before, but we were just having a normal conversation. When we finished talking, I woke up and I just felt weird. I can't explain the feeling other that I just felt off. I told my mom about it later on, and she said, from what I have explained, way I've explained it, sounded like spirit communication. And she said she was getting a strong feeling that they had died in a car accident. She said I could figure out what to Google. I might find something more out about these two girls. Nevertheless, I typed keywords that describe them in car crash into Google, and the first thing that came up in the search was a car crash that had happened in Australia a week prior, and there was a photo on the website. It was the two girls I had been talking to in my dream. That was just one report that came in. Also, more than 300,000 Filipino residents have been evacuated and flights canceled because of floods. All kind of rains and floods and typhoons. Kamari have caused all kind of havoc. And so this is ongoing as well. Hopefully everybody will be okay. A mysterious interstellar object pictured coming toward us from deep space, and it will make its approach closer next month. It's a mysterious object hurtling toward our solar system from deep space, and it has been photographed. And you can, again, Google all this up, and it is quite a picture to see, I must say. Next news break, top of the hour.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
Boy, that thunder is so bad here down at the compound. No, that's actually in the intro. Anyway, we're talking with Jeff. We're talking about MUFON. We're talking about UFOs. What do you think disclosure is going to be like, Jeff, in the future?
I'm sorry, that broke up a little bit there. Could you repeat that?
Well, what do you think disclosure? What's going to happen with disclosure in the near future? I know, you were going to laugh. I waited for that.
It's been going on for about almost 20 years now. Anyone that thinks there's going to be someone walking up to a podium and making some grand statement is going to be highly disappointed. No officials know how to handle that. So I believe the powers that be decided long ago to let the public handle disclosure on its own. And it's been going on. If you notice, little seeds have been dropping. First it was Art Bell with his radio show, and then Coast to Coast AM, of course, cracked open the doorway wide to where it became okay to talk about the subject openly again. Then Ancient Aliens, of course, brought the subject into History Channel and everyone's living room, and it's on, season 13 now. So, disclosure's been going on for quite a while. I don't know how old you guys are, but in the 60s and 70s, you just didn't talk about UFOs. Radio stations didn't talk about it. TV stations didn't talk about it. Only until recently, even anytime any journalists on TV talked about it, they do it mockingly or have X-Files type music playing in the background. And in fact, I did a interview this morning for a journalist used to work for CNN, and he flat out told me that they weren't allowed to talk about the subject at all. Even mentioning it slightly in a story would get you canned. So the atmosphere in itself has changed to where talking about the subject is acceptable. Not only that, the public perception has changed, and where you would be in the lunatic fringe talking about it before, now you're considered crazy if you don't believe in the reality of the phenomena.
Well, I noticed
quite a bit has changed.
But, like I mentioned earlier, I started doing talk radio in 1976. Art was a friend of mine. And, we would talk off and on every month, actually. But we would talk about some of, people coming on talking about UFOs. He actually, at one point, told me, quote unquote, you know what, there's no such thing as UFOs. It's just entertainment. He felt that way very strongly to one day.
I'm shocked to hear that.
One day, him and Ramona went out to the back deck. And lo and behold, he saw a UFO. Both of them did. That changed his whole story. He was doing political shows before he started doing, what he did. And John Lear came into the studio in the station he was working at in Las Vegas and said, Art was getting, from what Art told me the whole long story one time, that he was getting really burned out doing politics and talking politics every night. John Lear goes, you know what? Talk about UFOs. Talk about the paranormal. And Art gave it some thought. He tried it, and boy, did it fly. And just think, if we wouldn't have never had Art Bell do that, and if he wouldn't have listened to John Lear, if he wouldn't have got burned out doing politics, I don't even think we'd be talking much about UFOs today.
Perhaps not. Perhaps maybe there might have been someone else to fill the shoes. We don't know. But yeah, no, he was a trailblazer and a pioneer, absolutely. And again, like I agree wholeheartedly. He opened the doorways for it to become okay to talk about it, at nighttime. But not just UFOs, but a wide range of subjects. He would let people, talk about and keep an open mind on. And that's really important with a lot of these subjects. Just because I investigate UFOs does not mean that I believe in a lot of other things, but it doesn't mean I don't. I I investigate everything kind of along the same way. I like to see some evidence of some sort, and I do count witness testimony as evidence. But I need, a little bit more than folklore to go on for some of the older tales and older sightings. There are too many really good ones that have good, strong, credible witnesses and documentation and cross-references of radar and ground sightings, things like that, in good cases to keep me busy, to where some of the more obscure ones I don't have as much time for as I'd like to, sad to say. We get a lot of cases in at MUFON, more than probably a lot of people realize. It's slowed down the last couple of years, but about 2 years ago, Earl and I probably had 30 cases, maybe 40 or 50 in some extreme instances going at a time. And all our investigators in Southern California, I had to give a lot of cases to like that at the same time, because we just had such an incredible wave of sightings coming in. And I credit a lot of that to the fact that we had the Hangar 1 show going, of course, which a lot of the public wasn't aware that there was a MUFON to report their sighting to until that show started airing. And then we started getting a lot of reports from older sightings, historical sightings, and military personnel that perhaps had encounters even back as far as World War II. So, it's been kind of interesting the way the spectrum of cases has come on this last couple of years. It's slowed down quite a bit, but the types of cases have changed. We have probably more abduction cases, I would say, in the last year than we had previously for a few years. It's kind of took a jump there. Now, I don't know whether that means that the activity has jumped, or it's that the people are reporting it now more. But it's kind of interesting to see the different types of sightings and the different aspects of the phenomena, how it changes over time. There's still animal mutilations going on. We just heard of a case, I believe, in Washington a month or two ago. But they're not happening as frequently, to my knowledge, as they were, say, during the time when Linda Moulton Howe started investigating them. So, there's different I like to call it temperatures of the phenomena that you can gauge, and right now it